Last night saw the conclusion of Overwatch League All-Star action before the mid-season break. There were some fantastic moments that put on display over the last couple of days. So for this video, I've decided that I'm going to break down what went down whilst covering my own personal favourite bits from the talent breakdown, Widow 1v1s, arcade match, and then the official All-Star game itself. Kicking us off, I can't think of a better place to start than with the talent takedown series that started the proceedings. We could already tell we were in for a treat, with Golden Boy returning on commentary as he was joined by Super and Dogman, and I just want to quickly say how good Dogman particularly was in this position, as he seemed to have some solid chemistry alongside Golden Boy and just felt really comfortable on the mic, calling the play-by-play. Commentators aside, the action also had some major talking points, and the one I want to focus in on but especially is the performance of Bren during this series, as after his most recent Overwatch streams, it'd be fair to say that expectations for him were low as the match began. On the Acropolis, he led the Atlantic side to a 1-0 map lead after a nice round on Junkrat, as well as on Widowmaker that saw him pick up play of the game. But unknowingly to everyone watching, this was just him warming up for the second map on Gibraltar. Going head to head with Achilles in the Widow duel, the Brenji showed that he was not just a one hero thrower, but in fact a Widowmaker god. He tore the Pacific team apart on attack, and then defense, with headshot after headshot, but just seemed to be getting better and cleaner each time. By pretty much carrying his team on his own, he gave the Atlantic side a massive time bank advantage going to the second round of attacks, during which it was his switch to Sombra that proved crucial in giving his team the map win, confirming the series for the Atlantic. Another player I'll just mention was from Monte Cristo, or should I say E-Monte, who came dressed to dominate the stage, as he hit a huge 4-man shatter that allowed his team to complete the map, but also took the second map's play of the game. To the infuriation of Uber, who had a decent game on Ana, and had actually slept E-Monte before the play, only for him to be woken up by someone on his team that allowed him to get off the shatter. The Pacific side did manage to get a map back on Li Zhang, but this result could not influence the MVP award. After his dominant performance, deservedly went to Bren, to the dismay of his talent colleagues. And he took no time in showing off his now inflated ego to call out Overwatch League pros to a Widow 1v1. The following day this challenge was met by Gesture, and the pair went head to head during the halftime of the All-Star game. To put this in perspective, this was a man way out of his depth, in the low end of Diamond, going up against one of the strongest Widows in the league with 100% accuracy and a ladder peak of over 4600. The Bridowmaker should have been destroyed 7-0. In reality though, with the support of his fellow countrymen behind him, the absolute unit managed to get not one but 2 rounds in his eventual defeat, but to the dismay of his other casters, ended up boosting his ego even more rather than completely pounding it into the ground, as Gesture lapped up the various praises and continued his 100% Widow win rate. Moving on to the Widow 1v1 competition, it received a mixed reception from the fans, for the surprising number of flex support players involved, as well as numerous notable absences, including former champion Surefor and other Widow hotshots like Linksha and Sireplay. Unfortunately, this translated itself into the contest as well, with one of the few redeeming graces being the widespread hope for a Carpe vs DM final, as well as seeing Pine return to action. All 3 flex supports were comfortably beaten, with Violet being stuffed 7-0 by DM, Jonak falling to his teammate Pine 7-2, with the regular Pine shenanigans as well, as Shu was also bested by Fleta 7-3. The remaining quarterfinal pitted Nene against Carpe, one of the best Widow 1v1s of the day, as despite Nene storming to an early lead, Carpe managed to bring himself back in the match and tie it at 6-6, a match point. Yet despite the great desire to see Carpe go against his friend DM, Nene spoiled the party, picking up the all-important final kill, to win the match and advance. DM continued his unrelenting charge for the Pacific bracket, taking down Fleta 7-4 to advance to the final, which left Pine to face another teammate against Nene. As became the pattern with Nene's matches, they were all very even and went back and forth, although it was clear which player the other New York players were supporting and cheering on, with only Dogman coming out to cheer on Pine from the backline. Again, level at 6-all, it came down to the final round, and once more it was the rookie Nene who picked up the victory, sending him to the final against DM. The contest started off closely, but DM had by far and away been the top performer throughout the competition, and he managed to avenge his friend Carpe with an impressive finish to win the final 9-5 and take this year's Widow 1v1 crown. Aside from these 2 events was the All-Star arcade match as well as the official match itself, which on the whole brought a ton of light-hearted entertainment. I won't go into too much detail, as for the most part it was taken not at all very seriously, but from the arcade match I'll note that Fusions was a total boss on DPS, and the Pacific's high noon strategy on McCree was as clever as it was funny to watch, as the Pacific Division also picked up their only overall victory in the event for the arcade series. As for the main series, the standouts to my eyes were Sire Player, Carpe and Prophet, who all clearly enjoyed the refreshing change in comps being run, with GOATs unofficially banned, allowing for teams to return to the inaugural season meta of Dive, alongside the newer triple DPS comps, and it seems that fans responded very positively to this. This change in comps also seemed to negatively affect the Pacific Division, who despite owning GOATs in the regular season, were owned by the Atlantic and their DPS for the most part, as the Atlantic took the series, effectively the All-Star event, and I'd recommend watching the action highlights if you want to catch up on those matches in more detail. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. I've got a couple of video ideas planned for the next few weeks before Stage 3 kicks off, but I'd love to hear any ideas that you might have in the comments below, or let me know on Twitter. Otherwise, please like and subscribe for this continuing Overwatch League coverage and content.